Remove this black trash from my office. Omar al-Rashid towers over 12-year-old Amara Williams as she quietly empties his wastebasket. Her small hands grip the plastic liner, trying to stay invisible. He kicks the trash bin, sending papers flying across the marble floor. "Filthy little pest," he mutters in Arabic to his assistant. "The cleaner's worthless daughter." His assistant laughs. "She's as stupid as her monkey mother." Omar grabs Amara's wrist, his expensive rings digging into her skin. "You understand nothing, do you, little animal?" Amara looks up briefly, her dark eyes meeting him. She says nothing, just continues picking up the scattered papers. He shoves her aside. "These American fools. We'll steal their 500 million while this garbage cleans up after us." Omar straightens his $10,000 suit, stepping on the papers Amara just collected. But here's what he doesn't know. This worthless child understands every single word he's saying, every insult, every detail of his criminal plan, and in exactly 72 hours, she'll use that knowledge to bring his entire empire crashing down. The fluorescent light flickers overhead as Amara helps her mother Keisha organize cleaning supplies. The smell of disinfectant mingles with the sound of mops clinking against metal buckets. "Mama," Amara whispers, glancing toward the door. "That man today, Mr. Omar, he said bad things." Keisha doesn't look up from counting inventory sheets. "Baby, you know better than to listen to grown folks' business. Just keep your head down and—" "He said he's going to steal Mr. Harrison's money." Amara's voice trembles. $500 million. Keisha freezes, her pen hovering over the checklist. "What are you talking about, Amara?" "You don't even speak Arabic." "Yes, I do, Mama." Amara's words tumble out in a rush. "He called me trash, called you a monkey, said Americans are stupid and he's going to trick them with fake contracts." The pen slips from Keisha's fingers, clattering to the concrete floor. "Baby girl, that's impossible. You've never learned—" "I taught myself." Amara pulls out her worn phone, scrolling to language learning apps. YouTube videos, online refugee help calls. Mrs. Fatima from 3B teaches me Somali, and I learned Arabic from her friends. Keisha stares at her daughter like seeing her for the first time. You really understood what that man was saying?" "Every word." Amara's eyes fill with tears. "He's going to hurt people, Mama." "The housing project he's talking about? That's where Jamal's family was supposed to move, where the Gonzalez kids could finally have their own rooms." Keisha sinks onto an overturned bucket, her hands shaking. Speaking up could cost her job, their health insurance, everything they've worked for. But looking at her daughter's determined face, she sees something she's never noticed before. Intelligence that burns like fire. A moral compass that points true north. "What exactly did he say, baby?" Amara takes a deep breath. "He said Monday would be too late to stop them. Mama, we have to tell someone. We have to tell Mr. Harrison." "Mr. Harrison?" Keisha's voice cracks. "Baby, he's not going to listen to us. We're just what, Mama? Just cleaning ladies? Just nobody?" The question hangs in the air like a challenge. The security guard's hand hovers over his radio as Keisha approaches the executive floor, Amara trailing behind in her school backpack and sneakers. "Ma'am, Mr. Harrison didn't authorize any—" "It's okay, Marcus." David Harrison's voice echoes from his office doorway. He looks curious, not annoyed. "Mrs. Williams, is everything all right?" It's quite late. Keisha's hands twist the cleaning cloth she's still holding. "Mr. Harrison, sir, I'm sorry to bother you, but my daughter, she says she heard something important about your deal tomorrow." David's eyebrows raise as he studies Amara, who stands half hidden behind her mother. "Your daughter? Come in, both of you." The office smells like expensive leather and coffee. Amara perches on the edge of an oversized chair, her feet barely touching the ground. "Now then," David settles behind his desk. What's this about? The man with the fancy watch, Amara begins quietly. Mr. Omar. He spoke in Arabic. He said things. Arabic? David leans forward. Honey, I don't think you understand. He said you're a fool. That Americans are stupid and easy to trick. Amara's voice grows stronger. He's planning to steal your money through fake contract words. David exchanges glances with Keisha, then speaks gently. Sweetheart, sometimes grown-ups use big words that sound scary, but... Amara straightens up. Sayakuduna kul shayin min hadihi al-shurka al-ghabiya. The Arabic flows from her lips with perfect pronunciation. David's coffee cup freezes halfway to his mouth. He said, "We'll take everything from this stupid company," Amara translates. Then his assistant laughed and said, Laisa ladehim kibra fi al-lugha al-arabiyya. She switches back to English. They have no experience with Arabic language. David sets down his cup with shaking hands. How do you know Arabic? YouTube mostly, and Mrs. Fatima upstairs teaches me. I help translate for refugee kids at the community center. Amara pulls out her phone. Want me to show you? She opens a news app and plays an Al Jazeera clip. As the rapid Arabic flows from the speaker, Amara translates simultaneously. The reporter is saying the Egyptian parliament voted on new trade agreements. The opposition leader claims the president is hiding corruption in infrastructure deals. David's jaw drops. The translation is flawless, capturing not just words but context and political nuance. Amara, his voice is barely a whisper. What exactly did Mr. Omar say about our deal? He used special Arabic lawyer words mixed with regular talking to confuse any translator you might hire. He said the real contract gives him control after 6 months, not you. And there's hidden words that make you pay penalties if you try to stop him. She slides off the chair and approaches his desk. Mr. Harrison, can I see the contract? With trembling hands, David pulls out the Arabic sections. Amara scans them quickly, her young finger tracing the text. Right here. She points to a seemingly innocent paragraph. This says, temporary partnership arrangement. But in the Arabic legal structure, temporary actually means until transfer of primary authority. And this word here. She taps another line. In Emirati dialect, it means complete ownership, not shared management, like your translator probably said. David stares at the contract, then at this 12-year-old who just exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud. There's more, Mr. Harrison. Amara's voice drops to a whisper. He said something about other American companies they've done this to before, and he laughed about how easy it is because Americans never learn Arabic well enough to catch them. The office falls silent except for the hum of air conditioning. David looks at Keisha, who appears as stunned as he is. Mrs. Williams, David finally says, your daughter may have just saved our company from the biggest fraud in our history. Amara climbs back into the chair. Mr. Harrison? The signing is tomorrow, right? He said he moved it up because he wants to finish the Americans before they get suspicious. David reaches for his phone with shaking hands. I need to call my legal team. Now. Wait. Amara holds up a small hand. He also said something about having a backup American lawyer already paid to help them if anything goes wrong. Someone in your company. The room temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. 7-year-old Amara pressed her face against their apartment window, watching the Somali family across the courtyard struggle with English paperwork. Mrs. Fatima held official documents, tears streaming down her face as she tried to communicate with a city housing official. Mama, why is she crying? Amara had asked. Keisha pulled her daughter close. Sometimes, baby girl, when people can't speak the same language, they can't get help. Even when they really need it. That night, Amara downloaded her first language app. Present day, David's office. I started with Spanish, Amara explains quietly, her small hands folded in her lap. For the kids at school whose parents couldn't come to teacher meetings. Then Arabic when the refugee families started moving into our building. David leans forward, captivated. How many languages do you speak, Amara? 8 fluently, working on 3 more. She shrugs like it's nothing special. Mrs. Gonzalez taught me Portuguese. Mr. Kim helps with Korean. I teach myself the others online. Keisha's voice breaks with pride and pain. She stays up until midnight sometimes, listening to foreign news, helping neighbors fill out forms. I thought she was just playing games on that phone. Why languages, honey? David asks gently. Amara looks up with eyes too wise for her age. Because when people can't understand each other, bad things happen. Kids get scared. Families get separated. People like Mr. Omar think they can trick everyone. She pulls a worn notebook from her backpack, pages filled with Arabic script, Spanish vocabulary, Korean characters, all in her careful 12-year-old handwriting. Mama always says our minds are gifts from God. But she also says gifts are meant to be shared, not hidden. Amara traces an Arabic phrase in her notebook. This says, knowledge is light. I learned it from helping Mr. Ahmed with his citizenship test. David studies the notebook, amazed by the depth of study. Amara, this is college-level work. I know. Her voice is matter-of-fact. But college costs money we don't have, so I learn for free, and I help who I can. Keisha wipes her eyes. My baby teaches Sunday school in 3 languages, translates for parents at the clinic. I didn't know she was this smart. You always knew, Mama, Amara whispers. You just didn't know other people would listen. Monday morning, conference room. I need you to be my secret weapon, David whispers to Amara as they stand outside the glass conference room. Can you handle that? Amara nods, clutching her backpack. Inside, she can see Omar pacing while speaking rapidly into his phone, in Arabic, of course. Remember, you're just here with your mom while she works. Act like a normal kid. Can you do that? Yes, sir. But her hands tremble as she pulls out coloring books and crayons from her bag. David opens the door. Gentlemen, my apologies. Our cleaning staff needs to finish up here. They'll be very quiet. Omar barely glances at Keisha and Amara as they enter. To him, they're furniture. Amara spreads her coloring supplies on the floor near the wall, close enough to hear everything but far enough to appear uninvolved. She starts coloring a butterfly, pink and purple wings taking shape as Omar continues his phone conversation. Naam, kul shay yusir hasab al-khitta, Omar says into his phone. Yes, everything is going according to plan. Amara's crayon pauses for just a moment, then continues moving across the paper. Al-Amir Kiyun, la yarifun shay'an, an qawanin al-tijara al-Islamiyya. Sanastamil hadihi al-thugra li siyadat al-mashru bil-kamil. The Americans know nothing about Islamic trade laws. We'll use this loophole to control the project completely. So, a butterfly wing gets colored a little too hard, the crayon pressing deep into the paper. Omar's assistant enters, closing the door behind him. Hal tatakalam al-Injliziyya bitariqa tuthir al-shubuhat. Are you speaking English in a way that raises suspicions? La hum jamian gaflun, walakin hunaka mushkila sagira. Omar glances around the room, then continues. Al-Muhami alladhi dafana lahu fil shirka qal anna hunaka shakhs yurid muqabalat al-mashru bil tafasil. No, they're all clueless. But there's a small problem. The lawyer we paid off in the company said someone wants to review the project details. Amara reaches for her red crayon, accidentally knocking over her box. Crayons scatter across the marble floor. Sorry, she whispers, scrambling to collect them. Both Omar and his assistant ignore her completely. Manhua? Who is it? The assistant asks. La Arif. Lakin sanajalu yuafiku au sanuda miruhu. I don't know, but we'll make him agree or we'll destroy him. Omar's laugh is cold. Amara's small hands freeze around a blue crayon. Wamada an al-mashru as-sakani. And what about the housing project? Hada huwa al-juz al-jamil, sanahud al-ard, wa nabni manjarat lil-aghniya. Fuqara hadhihi al-mantika sayajidun anfusahum bila manzil. That's the beautiful part. We'll take the land and build resorts for the rich. The poor people in this area will find themselves homeless. The blue crayon snaps in Amara's grip. Omar checks his expensive watch. Al-Tawki fi sa wahida. Bad halik. Sayakun kul shay kad intaha. Signing in 1 hour. After that, everything will be finished. As the two men leave, Amara slowly packs up her crayons. Her butterfly drawing lies forgotten, one wing beautiful, one wing torn where her crayon pressed too hard when she heard about families losing their homes. David approaches quietly. Well? Amara looks up with tears in her eyes. Mr. Harrison, it's worse than we thought, and we don't have much time. Harrison and Associates, main conference room, 30 minutes later. David stands before his senior partners, Amara sitting small and quiet in an oversized chair beside him. The mahogany table stretches between them like a courtroom divide. Let me understand this correctly. Senior partner Margaret Foster adjusts her designer glasses. You want to delay a $500 million deal because of something a child claims to have overheard? Margaret, if you'd just listen to what she... David, partner Robert Carter interrupts, his voice dripping condescension. Are we really taking legal advice from the cleaning lady's daughter? This is absurd. She's 12 years old. Foster's voice rises. Children mishear things. They make up stories for attention. This is exactly what happens when you let the help bring their kids to work. Amara's small hands clench in her lap, but she stays silent. Gentlemen, ladies, David tries again. She speaks fluent Arabic. She understood. Oh, please. Partner James Sullivan leans back in his leather chair. These kids watch too much TV. Probably picked up a few words from some movie and thinks she's a translator. Maybe she misunderstood what she heard, Carter adds dismissively. You know how these people can be. They see conspiracies everywhere. The room falls silent. The racist implication hangs in the air like poison gas. Keisha shifts uncomfortably by the door, wanting to grab her daughter and run. Furthermore, Foster continues, even if this child did hear something, we have professional translators. We have contracts reviewed by the best legal minds in the city. Are you suggesting we trust a 12-year-old over Harvard law graduates? I'm suggesting, David's voice hardens, that we listen to someone who might have information we need. Sullivan snorts. Information? David, she's a kid from the projects. She should be in school, not in boardrooms making up fairy tales about international conspiracies. What's next? Carter laughs. Are we going to consult the janitor about merger strategies? Ask the security guard to review our tax codes? That's enough. David slams his hand on the table. But Foster isn't finished. David, I understand you want to be progressive. But this is a business, not a charity. We can't make decisions based on the fantasies of some cleaning woman's brat. Watch your mouth, Margaret. Or what? You'll have me fired for speaking the truth? This little girl needs to be back where she belongs, at home, playing with dolls, not pretending to understand adult business. Amara finally speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. May I ask Mr. Carter something? The partners exchange glances. Foster rolls her eyes. Go ahead, honey, David encourages. Amara looks directly at Carter. You said magna cum laude Harvard Law in your introduction, but you pronounced magna wrong. It's magna, not magna. Latin stress patterns fall on the penultimate syllable when it contains a long vowel. The room goes dead silent. Also, Mr. Sullivan, when you said we should trust the best legal minds, you used a dangling modifier. It should be, the best legal minds should trust us, if that's what you meant. Sullivan's face reddens. And Mrs. Foster, you said these people twice. I counted. My mama taught me that when someone says these people, they usually mean people I don't respect. Foster's mouth opens and closes like a fish. David smiles grimly. Now, shall we test her Arabic, or are you convinced that intelligence doesn't come with age requirements? The senior partners shift uncomfortably in their expensive suits, suddenly very interested in their legal pads. Conference room, 45 minutes before signing. David turns to his humbled partners. Gentlemen, ladies, meet our new linguistic consultant. Amara, are you ready to help us save this deal? The senior partners sit in stunned silence as David outlines the plan. Omar's team will be here in 30 minutes for final negotiations. Amara will sit quietly in the corner with her tablet, appearing to play educational games. In reality, she'll monitor all Arabic communications and feed us intelligence. Foster starts to object, but David cuts her off. Margaret, unless you suddenly learned Arabic overnight, I suggest you listen. Amara opens her tablet and shows them a simple drawing app. I'll use this to send you signals. Red dot means they're lying. Blue dot means important information. Green dot means they're telling the truth about something. That's actually quite sophisticated, Carter admits reluctantly. The conference room doors open. Omar strides in with his legal team, speaking rapid Arabic to his assistant. Hadhihi hiya al-lahza al-akira, bad al-tawki, sayakun al-mal kamilan fi yadayna. This is the final moment. After signing, the money will be completely in our hands. Amara's finger moves across her tablet screen. To anyone watching, she's coloring a house, but she taps a red dot that appears on David's phone. Gentlemen, welcome. David greets Omar's team warmly. Ready to finalize this partnership? Of course, Omar smiles. Though I must say, some of these contract terms seem quite favorable to your company. Perhaps too favorable. He's testing them, seeing if they'll negotiate against their own interests. Amara quickly draws a blue dot. David glances at his phone. Actually, Omar, I think the terms are fair as written. 50-50 partnership, shared decision-making, equal profit distribution, standard international joint venture structure. Omar's assistant whispers in Arabic, Yabdu annahum la yarifun al-nusus al-kafiyya. It seems they don't know about the hidden clauses. Blue dot on David's screen. However, David continues smoothly, I'd like to review Section 47B once more, the subsidiary management structure. Omar's face twitches. That section contains some of his most carefully hidden traps. Kaif Yarif Hadha? How does he know this? Omar hisses to his assistant. Red dot, blue dot, red dot. Amara's little fingers work quickly, her drawing app becoming a sophisticated intelligence-gathering tool. Is there a problem with Section 47B? David asks innocently. No problem, Omar lies smoothly. Though perhaps we could discuss the timeline modifications. He launches into a complex explanation, switching between English and Arabic to confuse the Americans. But Amara catches every word. Her tablet shows David a simple drawing, a clock with 6 months written underneath, crossed out, with 30 days written beside it. Interesting, David muses. So you're proposing to accelerate the timeline from 6 months to 30 days? That seems quite aggressive. Omar freezes. He never mentioned timeline changes in English. Kaif Sami Dalek? How did he hear that? Omar's assistant asks in Arabic. La adri. Lakin yajib anakun hadirin. I don't know, but we must be careful. Omar's eyes sweep the room suspiciously. His gaze passes over Amara, who appears completely absorbed in coloring a butterfly on her tablet. Just a child playing games while adults conduct business. Mr. Omar, David says calmly, I think we need to discuss the real terms you're proposing. All of them. In detail. Omar's confident smile begins to crack. Sullivan whispers to Foster, How is David doing this? Foster watches Amara's innocent face as the child continues her game, then whispers back, I think we owe someone an apology. David's private office, during the recess. David closes his office door and sits across from Amara in the small seating area, away from the imposing desk. For the first time all day, he's not a powerful lawyer, just a father figure talking to a remarkable child. Can I tell you something, Amara? His voice is gentle, vulnerable. When I was your age, nobody listened to me either. Amara looks up from her tablet, surprised. I grew up in a trailer park in Ohio. My dad fixed cars. My mom cleaned houses, just like your mama. David's eyes grow distant. I was the first person in my family to go to college. You know what my high school guidance counselor told me? What? That kids like me don't become lawyers. That I should aim for something more realistic. David shakes his head. I was angry for years. But then I realized something. Being underestimated can be a superpower. How? Because when people expect nothing from you, you can surprise them, like you did today. David leans forward. But Amara, I need you to know something important. What happened in that conference room? That wasn't just about business. What do you mean? My daughter Emma is your age. She's smart. Not as smart as you, but smart. And sometimes she comes home from school crying because kids make fun of her for reading too much, for knowing too many answers. His voice cracks slightly. If someone dismissed Emma the way my partners dismissed you today, I'd be heartbroken. Amara fidgets with her tablet stylus. People think I'm weird because I like languages more than TikTok. You know what's weird? A world where a 12-year-old has to save adults from their own ignorance. David smiles sadly. Amara, what you did today, understanding those Arabic conversations, catching that fraud, that wasn't luck. That was years of hard work, dedication, and natural brilliance. I just wanted to help people. Like the refugee kids at the community center who can't talk to their teachers. And that's exactly why you're special. You didn't learn 8 languages to show off. You learned them to serve others. David's voice grows firm with conviction. That's the difference between intelligence and wisdom. You have both. Keisha appears in the doorway. They're calling us back. David stands and offers Amara his hand. Ready to change history, partner? Amara takes his hand, her small fingers wrapping around his. Mr. Harrison? When this is over, can I meet Emma? Maybe teach her some Arabic? She'd love that. She could teach you about soccer. She's obsessed. For a moment, they're just two people who understand what it means to be underestimated, walking together toward justice. Conference room, final confrontation. Omar returns with a briefcase full of new documents and a coldness in his eyes that wasn't there before. His assistant carries a digital recorder. They're being extra careful now. Mr. Harrison, Omar's voice is silk over steel. I've brought revised contracts. Final terms. Non-negotiable. He spreads thick legal documents across the mahogany table. The Arabic sections are even more complex than before. Dense, archaic text mixed with modern Gulf dialect terminology. These require immediate signature. Market conditions have shifted. David glances at Amara, who sits innocently in her corner, tablet in hand. To Omar, she's invisible furniture. Of course. But I'd like our linguistic consultant to review the Arabic sections first. Your consultant? Omar's eyebrows raise. I wasn't aware you had Arabic expertise in-house. Recent acquisition, David says smoothly. Omar's assistant whispers urgently, Hal yajib an-naklik min hada al-mawdu? Should we be concerned about this? La, muhamihim al-Arab laysa qariban al-yawm. وهم لا يستطيعون فهم اللغة القديمة التي استخدمتها. No, their Arab lawyer isn't here today, and they can't understand the ancient language I used. Amara's finger traces a casual circle on her tablet. She's drawing flowers, anyone watching would think. But David's phone shows a red dot. These contracts, Omar continues in English, reflect standard international joint venture terms, 60-day transition period, shared oversight, mutual profit distribution. His words sound reasonable, professional, but in Arabic, he tells his assistant, Al-Nas al-Hakiki yutti lana al-Sitr al-Kamil Bad thalathina yawm fakat. Wa indama yuhawilun mukhalafat al-Aqd sayudafun gharamat $100 million. The real text gives us complete control after only 30 days, and when they try to break the contract, they'll pay $200 million in penalties. Blue dot, red dot, blue dot on David's screen. Amara draws what appears to be a house with numbers. 30 days and $200 million. Interesting timeline, David muses, studying the English version. I see 60 days mentioned here, but I'm curious about enforcement mechanisms. Omar freezes. The English version clearly states 60 days. Kaif yarif anal thalathina yawm. How does he know about the 30 days? The assistant hisses. Sakt. Rubama kan takminan. Quiet. Maybe it was a guess. Red dot appears on David's phone. Mr. Omar, could you clarify the penalty structure? The Arabic seems quite comprehensive. Omar's confidence cracks. What penalty structure? The $200 million in liquidated damages mentioned in Section 73C of the Arabic text. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. Omar's face goes pale. Hadha mustahil. La yumkinhum qira'at al-Arabiyya bihada al-mustawa. This is impossible. They can't read Arabic at this level. Yajib ana yakun hunaka jasus. There must be a spy. Both dots, red and blue, flash frantically on David's screen. Omar's eyes scan the room like a predator seeking prey. They pass over the senior partners, the legal assistants, David himself, and land on Amara. The little girl sits quietly, coloring what appears to be a rainbow on her tablet, completely absorbed in her childish artwork. Omar stares at her for a long, suspicious moment. Then he walks over to her chair. Little girl, his voice is deceptively gentle. What are you drawing? A rainbow, Amara answers without looking up, continuing to color. Ma ismuki, ayatuha al-fatat al-sugira. What's your name, little girl? The question is a trap. If she understands, she'll react. Amara continues coloring, showing no sign she heard anything unusual. Hal tuhibina al-arzak? Do you like rainbows? Still no reaction. Omar relaxes slightly. Just a stupid child after all. But then he notices something. Amara's crayon paused, just for a microsecond when he spoke Arabic. Atakulu anaha latafam? You're sure she doesn't understand? He asks his assistant. This time, Amara's hand definitely trembles. Omar's eyes narrow. He kneels down beside her chair, his expensive suit bringing him to her eye level. Ayatuha al-fatat al-sugira, hal tufhaminana? Little girl, do you understand us? Amara looks up with big, innocent eyes. Are you talking to me, mister? I don't speak Spanish. Arabic, child. Arabic. Oh, no, I only speak English. And a little Spanish from school. But Omar sees something in her eyes, a flicker of intelligence, of understanding. Ureidu minki an takhruji min hadhihi al-ghurfa halan. I want you to leave this room immediately. Amara blinks, looking confused. Mama? She calls Keisha. But Omar isn't fooled. He's spent decades reading people, detecting lies, recognizing threats. Mr. Harrison, his voice turns deadly serious. I want this child removed from the room. Now. Omar, she's just... Now! Omar slams his hand on the table. I will not conduct business with unauthorized persons present, especially not... He glances at Amara with pure venom. Unwanted observers. David's jaw tightens. She stays. Then we have no deal. Omar begins gathering his documents. The moment of truth. Millions of dollars hang in the balance. David's entire firm's future rests on his next decision. He looks at Amara, this brave little girl who's risked everything to expose the truth. Amara, David says clearly, would you please tell Mr. Omar in Arabic exactly what you heard him say about the $200 million penalty clause? The room goes dead silent. Omar's face turns white as paper, and Amara stands up, looks Omar directly in the eyes, and speaks in perfect, crystal-clear Arabic. Samituka takul anna al-nas al-hakiki yutika. السيارة الكاملة بعد 30 يوما فقط وأن الأمريكيين سيدفعون غرامات 200 مليون دولار عندما يحاولون مخالفة العقد. I heard you say that the real text gives you complete control after only 30 days, and that the Americans will pay $200 million in penalties when they try to break the contract. Omar staggers backward like he's been shot. The stupid little black child just destroyed his entire criminal empire. Conference room, the dramatic reversal. The silence stretches like a taut wire ready to snap. Omar stares at Amara as if she's materialized from thin air, no longer invisible, no longer dismissible, no longer just a child. Hada mustahil. This is impossible. The words escape his lips like a death rattle. Amara steps forward, her tablet clutched in her small hands, and addresses the room in clear, confident English. Mr. Omar has been speaking Arabic this entire time because he believed none of you could understand him. He called me black trash, filthy pest, and worthless garbage. He called my mama a monkey. He said Americans are stupid and easy to fool. Her voice grows stronger with each word. But worse than the insults, he's been planning to steal $500 million through fraudulent contract language. The Arabic text gives him complete ownership of the project after 30 days, not 60. If you try to stop him, you pay $200 million in penalties. And the housing development for low-income families? He plans to tear it down and build luxury resorts for rich people. Omar's assistant bolts for the door, but David's security team, quietly summoned during the recess, blocks his exit. Furthermore, Amara continues, pulling up her tablet, I recorded everything. She taps the screen. Omar's voice fills the room, speaking in Arabic, with English subtitles scrolling across her tablet. We'll take everything from this stupid company. The Americans know nothing about Islamic trade laws. We'll make him agree or we'll destroy him. The poor people in this area will find themselves homeless. Foster's hand flies to her mouth. Sullivan goes pale. Carter stares at Amara like he's seeing an angel.
You recorded me.
Omar's voice is barely a whisper. I recorded everything, Mr. Omar, including you laughing about how you've done this to other American companies before, including you mentioning the backup lawyer you bribed in this firm. David steps forward. Omar al-Rashid, I'm canceling this deal effective immediately. Furthermore, I'm reporting attempted fraud to the FBI, the Securities Exchange Commission, and international authorities. Wait! Omar raises his hands desperately. Please, let me explain. Explain to a federal judge, David cuts him off. But Amara isn't finished. She walks directly to Omar, this small 12-year-old girl facing down a man who tried to steal $500 million. Mr. Omar, her voice is calm, mature beyond her years. Do you remember what you called me when I was cleaning your wastebasket? Omar's mouth opens and closes soundlessly. You called me dirty black trash and told someone to remove me from your sight. You kicked my supplies across the floor. You grabbed my wrist so hard it left marks. She holds up her small arm, showing the faint bruises from his rings. But you know what's funny? While you were busy thinking I was worthless, I was busy saving $500 million and protecting hundreds of families from losing their homes. The words hit Omar like physical blows. And now, Amara's voice carries the quiet authority of absolute justice. Everyone will know that a 12-year-old girl you called garbage was smart enough to stop your entire criminal operation. Omar collapses into a chair, his empire crumbling around him. David places his hand on Amara's shoulder. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Dr. Amara Williams, the youngest chief linguistic consultant in legal history and the person who just saved our company from the largest fraud attempt we've ever faced. The room erupts in applause, slow at first, then thunderous. Foster stands. Amara, I don't know how to apologize for what I said earlier. You showed more intelligence and courage in one morning than I've shown in my entire career. Sullivan nods vigorously. The board needs to hear about this immediately. We need to create a formal recognition program. Already done, David interrupts. He pulls out an official document. Effective immediately, Amara Williams is appointed Chief Youth Linguistic Consultant with full educational support, her own office, and compensation appropriate to the value she's provided this firm. Keisha steps forward, tears streaming down her face. Mr. Harrison, we can't. This is too much. Mrs. Williams, David turns to her with deep respect. Your daughter didn't just save our company. She exposed international fraud that could have hurt countless families. This isn't charity. It's payment for services that no amount of money could truly cover. Chen approaches Amara hesitantly. Could I shake your hand? I've never met anyone quite like you. As Amara shakes hands with her senior partner, the same people who called her a liar and a fantasist an hour ago, Omar makes one last desperate attempt. Please, he begs David, I have family, children of my own. If this goes public, I'll lose everything. Amara turns to him, and for a moment, her 12-year-old compassion shows through. Mr. Omar, I hope your children never have to hear adults call them worthless because of how they look or where they come from. I hope they never have to prove they're smart enough to exist in the same room as you. Her kindness is more devastating than any accusation. But you tried to steal money that would have built homes for kids like me. You tried to hurt my community, my friends, my neighbors. So no, I can't help you now. David's phone buzzes with notifications, news outlets already picking up the story. 12-year-old genius exposes $500 million fraud. Cleaning lady's daughter saves major law firms. Child prodigy outsmarts international criminal. Amara, David kneels down to her level. There are going to be reporters, interviews, maybe even book deals. But I want you to know, you never have to be anyone's symbol or spokeswoman. You're a child first, a genius second. Can I still help the refugee kids with their translation? You can do whatever makes you happy. Foster clears her throat awkwardly. Amara, would you be willing to teach some of us basic Arabic? I realize we have significant gaps in our international capabilities. Amara looks up at the woman who called her the cleaning woman's brat just hours ago. Of course, Mrs. Foster. Learning new languages is fun. Even grown-ups can do it if they try really hard. The gentle innocence of the response, devoid of malice despite the earlier cruelty, brings tears to Foster's eyes. As FBI agents arrive to arrest Omar and his assistant, Amara sits in David's chair behind the massive mahogany table, her small frame dwarfed by the executive furniture but her presence commanding the entire room. The worthless trash Omar tried to sweep away has become the most powerful person in the building, and she's only 12 years old. 1 year later, Harrison and Associates. The brass nameplate on the office door reads, Dr. Amara Williams, Chief Youth Linguistic Consultant. Inside, 13-year-old Amara sits at a child-sized desk next to a regular one, reviewing documents in 5 different languages, while her homework lies open nearby, advanced calculus that would challenge most high school students. Her office walls display certificates of recognition from the FBI, the State Department, and 3 universities offering her early admission. But the spot of honor goes to a framed photo, Amara teaching Arabic to a group of refugee children at the community center, all of them laughing at something she's written on the whiteboard. A soft knock interrupts her concentration. David enters with a young girl who looks remarkably like him. Amara, I'd like you to meet my daughter Emma. Emma, blonde and shy, clutches a soccer ball and stares at Amara with a mixture of awe and nervousness. Dad says you speak like 100 languages, Emma whispers. Only 12 fluently, Amara grins, closing her textbook. But I'm working on Mandarin. Want to hear something cool in Arabic? Really? Uhibbu kurat al-qadam aidan. Amara points to Emma's soccer ball. That means I love soccer too. My friend Layla taught me all the soccer words when she moved here from Syria. Emma's face lights up. Could you teach me to say goal in different languages? For the next hour, the 2 girls sit cross-legged on Amara's office carpet, teaching each other. Emma demonstrating soccer kicks while Amara provides multilingual sports commentary that has them both giggling. David watches from the doorway, remembering how a year ago his colleagues dismissed this brilliant child as worthless trash. Mr. Harrison? Keisha appears beside him, wearing the professional attire of her new position as Director of Community Outreach. The scholarship committee is ready for you. In the main conference room, the same room where Omar once called Amara garbage, David addresses a diverse group of teenagers and their parents. The Amara Williams Foundation has approved full educational scholarships for 15 students this year, he announces. Each recipient was nominated by someone who saw potential that others missed. The recipients include a homeless honor student, a teenage single mother pursuing her GED, a young man whose learning disabilities masked his mathematical genius, and a deaf girl whose American Sign Language skills make her a natural for international relations. But before we celebrate, David continues, I want you to hear from someone special. Amara enters the room, no longer the invisible child with the cleaning supplies. She wears a simple dress and carries herself with quiet confidence that commands immediate respect. A year ago, a very powerful man looked at me and saw nothing but dirty black trash, she begins. He thought I was too young, too poor, too different to matter. He was wrong. She pauses, looking at each scholarship recipient. But here's what I learned. He wasn't wrong because I'm special. He was wrong because every person in this room is special. Every person has gifts that the world needs, even if the world doesn't know it yet. A teenage mother wipes tears from her eyes. The hardest part isn't proving you're smart enough or good enough. The hardest part is believing it yourself when everyone around you says you're not. Amara's voice grows stronger. I'm here to tell you, you are enough. You are worthy. You are brilliant. And someday you'll get the chance to prove it. She turns to address the room at large. But this isn't just about the people receiving scholarships today. This is about all of us learning to see differently. Amara walks to the same spot where Omar once stood, where he once dismissed her as nothing. Look around your schools, your workplaces, your communities. Who are you not seeing? Whose voice are you not hearing? Whose potential are you missing because they don't look like what you expect genius to look like? The room is completely silent, hanging on every word from this 13-year-old who changed everything. The next time you see someone cleaning an office, ask yourself, what languages do they speak? The next time you pass a child sitting quietly in a corner, ask yourself, what are they thinking about? The next time someone seems different from you, ask yourself, what can they teach me? Amara pauses at the head of the conference table. Because here's the truth that took me 13 years to learn. Talent doesn't wear expensive suits. Intelligence doesn't need a college degree. Wisdom doesn't require wrinkles. And worth has nothing to do with the size of your paycheck. She looks directly into the camera that's recording this moment for the Foundation's website. So I'm asking you, yes, you are watching this. What will you do differently tomorrow? Will you notice someone you've been overlooking? Will you listen to someone you've been dismissing? Will you see potential where others see problems? Amara smiles, the same quiet smile she had when Omar first underestimated her. Because somewhere out there is another kid like me, sitting quietly in a corner, understanding more than anyone realizes. And they're waiting for someone like you to see them. She pauses one final time. Don't make them wait too long. The screen fades to text. Share your story of hidden potential in the comments below. Like this video if you believe talent exists everywhere. Subscribe to Black Soul Stories for more stories of people who changed the world by being exactly who they were meant to be. And remember, you never know who might be listening.